The story hinted about a barren woman who was abandoned by her husband. She was as barren as an old spinster, and people called her names that further increased her bitterness. This happened in the land of Idemili, where pythons were taboos, and people gave them full funeral rites when they were accidentally killed. Destiny had challenged Ugomma when she could not give birth like other women. Fate made her victim of circumstance as she wallowed through the painful tunnel of barrenness. Ugomma was a princess among women. She was the most beautiful woman in the python land of Idemili, and people watched her like the sun. She was voluptuous, sleek, and had long dark glittering coils that reached down to her shoulders. Her pretty face bore a delicate lover's lips that were luscious and admirable. From the time she was 12, men moved around her like flies around treacles. They wanted to do everything for her, and like a thirsty scorched throat, she drank all their flattering hungrily. At the ripe age of 20 years, her parents gave her hands in marriage to Udenta, a handsome, athletic-looking young man that was regarded as the pick of the litter. He was the son of the wealthiest farmer in the whole village and the dream of every Median in Idemili. They lived for 1 year without a child, and Idemili that was tiny enough to start murmuring and gossiping. "What is wrong with your daughter-in-law?" One notorious village gossip asked Udenta's mother. "What do you mean?" Udenta's mother replied, feigning ignorance of all the rumors flying in the village. "Well, my sister, people are already talking. 1 year is already gone, and no child is crying in your house. There is still time. Let sleeping dog lie, my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law will give me plenty of grandchildren. Don't just let soup blind your eyes in the midst of water. Do something, Mamu Udenta," the woman cautioned. From that point, the seed of doubt was sown. Udenta's mother started watching her daughter-in-law for little sign of pregnancy. She touched her on the stomach and forced her in several occasions to open her breast for inspection. When there was no sign, she became furious. "Udenta, why is it taking you long to put something inside your wife?" she asked her son one night. "What are you saying, Mama?" Udenta asked. "Are you living with a fellow man? Why is Ugomma not pregnant yet? All her mates had born their husbands their first child. I need to carry my grandchild in this my hands." "Why are you worried, Mama? Ugomma is a full-bodied woman. Besides, we are just 1 year in marriage," answered Udenta. "1 year is more than enough, my son. Better talk to that beautiful man you are living with, or else I will help you." After another 6 months of bitterness, gossip, and distress, Udenta summoned Ugomma one night and delivered the final verdict. "I have decided to take another wife," he stammered in an incoherent voice. Ugomma was thunderstruck with fears. Tears filled her eyes, and she could not respond. As her husband continued, "You have failed in your duty as a woman to save our marriage, and I will not hurt you more by bringing in a woman without your consent. Tomorrow is our market day. Get all your things ready because we are paying a visit to your parents." Early the following morning, Udenta carried a keg of wine with palm leaf covering the mouth of the wine and went to visit his in-laws. Ugomma cried all the way to her parents' home, but Udenta was beyond caring. "I have brought your daughter back in good health with this keg of wine and palm leaf. I will expect to receive my dowry in 2 market days." Udenta started without preamble. "You could have warned us of your visit so that we will prepare something for you in-law," Ugomma's mother interjected. "I will wait for the return dowry in 2 market days," Udenta repeated and stood up to go. The pregnancy came when nobody was expecting it. There was no suitor, Neither was there a young man who was sneaking in to sleep to spend the night with Ugomma. Her parents were full of shame as the whole village went on fire for such sudden aberration. There was no sound and no axe struck, and the Iroko had fallen suddenly. Her parents acted fast and threw her out of the family house. She was suddenly made a pariah and untouchable. She found an old dilapidated hut outside the village and made her residence there. When her gestation period was due, village gossips peeped into the hut, expecting to hear the cry of a baby, but there was none. Another 6 months passed, and the pregnancy became larger and larger, yet there was nothing to show that someone had given birth inside the cold hut. One stormy night, when it was raining, cat and dog, the clapping of thunder and lightning suppressing every other sound in the leaking hut, Ugomma went into labor. She was alone, the rainstorm hammering mercilessly on the fragile hut. The labor lasted for 4 horrible hours, and she gave birth to a baby python. When her eyes descended on the long glittering baby between her legs, she jumped up and was about to flee, but the python spoke. "Mother, do not leave me." The little python cried. Her heart melted, and she took the beautiful python on her hands. The body was cold and slippery, but Ugomma held him close to her heart, cuddling the animal and making cooing noises you make to new babies. The python grew in days, and soon it was almost filling the whole hut. One day, Ugomma came back from the market to find 2 big sparkling diamonds vomited by the python. "Mother, use these diamonds to build a worthy house for us. Go to the neighboring village and you will find merchants who will pay good money for these precious stones." Early the following day, before the first cock crow, Ugomma traveled to the neighboring village and sold the diamond for an unbelievable bags of cowrie. Under 1 month, the little hut was turned into a palace. The villagers were shocked beyond measure. They watched in utter perplexity at the liveried gods that were stationed at the gigantic gates, the servants that roamed around the big houses inside the compound, and they all wanted to know what had really happened to bring all these riches to Ugomma. The first people that arrived at the palace were Ugomma's parents. They begged the liveried gods to allow them to see their dear daughter, but the gods chased them away. They refused to give up, arriving every morning to take position in front of the gate. After 1 month, Ugomma allowed them to come into the house. "What can I do for you?" Ugomma asked them. "Ha, Ugomma, you do not recognize your parents anymore. We are your father and mother." They sang together. "I do not have any parents," Ugomma answered them. "No, you have. Here is your mother who carried you 9 months in her stomach," her father said. "Well, I'm just hearing it for the first time," Ugomma persisted. "Please, our daughter, forgive us." "There is nothing to forgive. Tell me what you have come for, or I will tell the gods to throw you out of my compound. We are sincerely sorry to have abandoned you. You only discovered you are sorry after these many years. You better leave. I cannot believe you came all the way from the village to show me how sorry you are." After the news of the rejection of Ugomma's parents spread like wild harmattan fire throughout the village, Udenta decided to pay her a visit. He arrived one early morning with his parents, wondering at the kind of wealth seen around the compound. He was allowed audience because Ugomma had warned the gods to bring him in immediately. She wanted to see him once again for all the humiliation he had meted on her. "Who are you?" Ugomma asked them. "Ha, Ugomma, I am your loving husband, Udenta. I come to tell you that I have not received the dowry because I still love you dearly. I still do not know what you are talking about," Ugomma intoned in an unrepentant voice. I am still your husband, Ugomma. I want to take you back, pleaded Udenta. I do not remember having married a husband. If you have come all the way from the village to claim me as your wife, I think you are mistaken. I have no husband. Udenta was devastated after that visit. He went about the village drunk and blaming his parents and his new wife. He became the village drunk, and people touted him in the market, local bars, and every gathering where drinks were free, and Udenta came to insult himself the more. When the time came, the python called his mother and told him it was time to get married. Ugomma wondered how her son would go out in that form to bring home a wife. In the neighboring village was a stubborn, beautiful young girl that refused to marry. She chased away every suitor that came to ask for her hands in marriage. It was this beautiful girl that attracted Ugomma's son. On the day of the marriage, Ugomma was surprised when she found the most handsome man she had ever set eyes on, waiting in her son's room. They set out to the neighboring village, and on the way, Ugomma noticed that her son, who had turned into a human being, added two other strangers who were as handsome as he was to the company. The stubborn, beautiful girl was ecstatic with happiness when she saw the three handsome men. She ran into the house and told her parents that she had seen her husband. "Do not make yourself cheap," her father cautioned her. "This is my husband," the girl almost screamed to the hearing of the visitors. "Wait, let us know what they've come for." "I will not wait any longer. I have seen my husbands. I have at last seen my husband." Nobody could talk to the young lady. When her parents discovered they could not talk sense into her, they allowed her to go with the visitors. On the return journey, nearing the big river, one of the strangers who had joined Ugomma and her son stood out. He thanked his friend, the python, and told him that he was at last in his home. He circled twice and dove into the river, turning into a big fish. The young girl was scared, but couldn't open her mouth to speak. "Do you still want to go home with us?" asked Ugomma's son to the young beautiful lady. "I will go with you wherever you go," the girl answered, and they continued. When they had walked for another 2 or 3 leagues and had arrived at a very big, fearful forest, the second strange friend to Ugomma's son stood out. "This is where I will call it a day. I have reached my home, for a bird that flew into the forest had not got lost, but had gone home to roost. Thank you, my good friend the python, for giving me this opportunity." Then he circled twice and turned into a big lion, rolling in fury. He ran into the forest. "Do you still want to continue after you've had my friend the lion call me python?" "I am nothing but a python. I will go with you wherever you go, my husband," the young lady answered. They continued on their journey and at last reached the big palace. The girl was astounded of all the riches in the compound. She was afraid and followed her python husband inside his room. When Ugomma's son saw that the girl truly loved him, he called his mother. "Mother, from today I have become a human being. I have tested you and I have seen your complete acceptance of me in all forms. You are the womb that carried the king in your stomach. Because I am going to be made the king of this village, you must find it in your heart to forgive all those who had offended you. First, your parents, and secondly, your husband." After 1 year, Ugomma's son became the king of that village. As the king's mother, Ugomma became the most important woman in that village. She was